I'll come back. 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 I'll come back.
Yeah. Don't forget to make the announcement if you haven't already. Keep in mind the announcements is no longer announcements for stream because Priest reorganized everything and didn't fucking tell us.
Yeah, I did. I put it in the admin chat.
But where is the admin chat?
It's at the top. Fine. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, Blarg. Hello and welcome to the Barcast, where the bar gets lower every single week. Your bartenders for this evening are a non-pencil, dead microphone, enigmatic otaku,
Na 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 na.
flaming werfer,
You want to know how I got these scars?
ravage,
What? I wasn't paying attention.
milk,
No.
and I'm easy come, easy go. I just wish there wasn't so much cum. This week, we have a really special guest. Why did you guys think that one was so funny? When I come here week after week with comedy gold, but fucking saying cum is what does it. Fucking Christ. Okay.
Why you gagging so? Doing it to you every week.
This week we have a very special guest. I'm so happy to have him back. A friend that is so special that his words can't exist in just one person alone. He has like 10. We have the perfect skirts alt, short skirts and explosions.
Yes, that's right. It's me, Asia Shield.
It's true. Oh my God. I'm so happy to have you back again. You're such a great friend of the cast and such an influential member of the community.
This is the worst Hooters I've ever shopped at.
Well, shit.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me take off my shirt. Fuck, man.
I
sorry.
I knew this bra wasn't cutting it.
Did you come over here to apply at Femboy Hooters?
What did you cut out? What?
Femboy Hooters.
Oh, they should call it. They should retitle that. They should call it Tater Tots.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Oh fucking God, I love it. We haven't even explained the podcast yet. We're already losing our mind. This is
What's that old meme? Like us at 12 a.m. Me and the boys looking for cum.
looking for cummies. All right. Hello and welcome to the Barcast, where we're the community-oriented podcast. We request guests, we politely ask them on. You ask the questions, we make them miserable for 2 hours. For those who haven't tuned in before, check out previous episodes such as Bill Newton, John Delancey, Andrea Libman, and Short Shirts and Explosions out on iTunes, Google Play Music, and all the places where you syndicate and digest podcast-related material in your ears. Everyone keeps pinging me because of blog posts, and I'm trying to do an intro.
You have to do a couple more for all the alts.
Fair enough.
I'm really just having a discussion with myself. It's all ventriloquy right
now. We're streaming live on Twitch right now, where the lovely Anon Pencil is going to be watching for questions out in the chat. Pencil, what are questions we don't ask our guests?
We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about religion. We're not going to ask way too many, personal questions about social security number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know better than that. But Skirts is a pretty cool dude. He can handle our bullshit. If he makes him uncomfortable, so much the better. I consider that a challenge, considering he can turn a phrase better than I can half the time. So bring it, bitches. We also have a drinking word. What's the drinking word, Priest?
The drinking word for this week is panties or pantsu, if you're into that Chobits pantsu. The moon speak and all of that.
もう一度ゆっくり言ってください.
Thank you.
So without further ado, let's jump in. This is one of the largest threads we've ever had for Barcast. It's fitting for one of the largest penises we've ever interviewed. So, without further ado, let's ask a few very basic questions. Skirts, what we've had you on, so we're not gonna we're gonna skip the foreplay a little bit.
Yeah, you've had me turned on before.
What is your favorite part of the fandom? The online community, fanfics, cons, music. What, for someone who has existed in this community as long as you have, what keeps you here?
I'd say that the best part I've ever experienced out of the whole fandom, brony phenomenon is like the formation of the noble jury, and just like the people who've been able to respond to my daily writing and such, little kind of communication they had and repartee they have with one another. It didn't really feel like it came out of me. It sort of like just happened alongside me, and it's been a pleasure to witness that. That feels like a sub community within it.
Totally fair. Totally fair. Next question that we have is that we're in a state of fandom decline, and I don't think that it's particularly shocking to anyone. Gen 4 is over. We're done with the last season of the show. We've got some weird YouTube stuff going on, Australian leaks. We've got little online shows. Pony Life is a spawn of hell, but this current generation is over. What do we as a community do going forward to keep ourselves alive and relevant and strong?
I mean, I haven't watched all the episodes of season 9 anyways. I don't think that like the fandom has always been too terribly dependent on the source material. It was more like the impetus for everything else, and like the fandom just exploded. I mean, I feel like season 1 was crazily obsessed over, but ever since like season 2 and onward, I feel like the fandom has been pretty self-sustaining, And do furries have a single like medium that they follow? Not quite.
Mm-hmm. Totally fair. And then last but not least, the question that I'm suspecting your answer from last time has changed. Who is best pony?
No, it's still Applejack, I'd say. Although I still have, I think objectively, if you look at like just the character and the expressiveness and like the voice acting, Rarity's got to take the crown in a lot of ways.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Trixie.
Trixie is fun thing about Trixie. She's a bit of a bookends thing for me. I loved her in season 1, and then in 2020 she kind of became my mascot for trying to come back and do like the writing thing again. So I very much appreciate her, but I wouldn't necessarily call her the best. She's just like she's no longer a bench sitter anymore. How about that?
She's an ends to a means for you. I understand. I understand. I too understand using people. Wow, that's gonna be on tape for forever.
Good job, Breeze.
But who wears it better?
Who wears it better? The thread wears it best. Where we're actually starting out with yourself, Skirts. You asked yourself the question.
Did I?
So I will do my best Short Skirts and Explosions impression. What doth life?
Life doth panties.
Drink now.
That I'll take a drink to that.
You said that I asked the first question. I don't see Device Heretic on here at all.
It's true. It's some other Short Skirts and Explosions alt.
Oh, there's a lot to choose from.
Yes. And we also have a question from the chat. Other guy asks, when you're not wearing panties, how short can your skirt be before your dick starts poking out?
If we're talking my dick, then I guess like half an inch.
Half an inch? Oh my goodness.
Is that a skirt or a belt at that point?
Probably.
Jesus.
You just reach for that can of ravioli at the top of the shelf.
I mean, that's my fetish. Not the ravioli, but the skirt.
Can.
Tell me.
The can?
Oh, no.
You just open up, there's like the fucking vagina in it.
Check out them cans.
That's probably an owner hole that exists. Like,
yeah, whenever a hurricane blows through Florida, I go to the store and buy extra bunches of vaginas.
I mean, that sounds reasonable. I mean, you're going to use them if you're stuck inside anyway, so...
I just imagine his dick is covered in scars and it looks like it's been in war.
This podcast is brought to you by the Vietnam. No.
Yeah, name
No.
it Dick Pool.
All right.
By the way, I can confirm there are soda cans that look like Monster Energy cans, except there's just Ona holes inside.
Why?
So you can hide it better?
Right. I mean, I would totally just put a can of Monster in my pants. Like, why not?
So many reasons, but sure.
Sure.
Is that a monster in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Speaking of next questions.
If it's Jewish, it's a Red Bull.
Oh shit! Toys Heart Cup Monster. Easily get pleasure. I love that it has Japanese on it. All right,
Two
next
parts of
question.
it. There you go. Continue.
Next question is from some jerk off named Flutter Priest that never returns chat messages. He asks, "What doth femboys?"
Obviously, nobody on FemFic, if you look at the ratings of the stories I've posted since last year.
Fair. Okay, so you started writing femboy stories. You just kind of broke down. You're like, nah, I fucking want to do this. We're doing it. Bitches get out the way. I'm writing femboys and traps, and that's what we're doing. Time for all of the cute cross-dressing. I am ready. You even got me to write a story for you about that. How has your audience and fan base changed since that transition? Wow,
well, the thing about being in like the top 5 like authors is that you got to reinvent yourself, and sometimes you got to do that through self-sabotage, I guess. Because the best thing to do is like after an entire year of not posting a single story on your main page, you come back writing about the most niche subgenre of smut possible with the least beloved character in all of Equestria Girls. That's the way to win your fans back. I just said fuck it. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I kind of half-assed it. So maybe something better would have come out of it if I actually gave it more of an effort. But I kind of crashed in early last year and sort of went dark again. But where was I going with this? I've lost my train of thought already. But I just completely crashed really hard. But I now have like 3 different memes. I used to be the really super hardcore, grimdark, sad guy, and then I became the person with all the alts, and now I'm like the weird exhibitionist. So over a course of 9 years, you tend to reinvent yourself.
Why not all 3?
Yeah, well, people, it's short range memory,
Fair enough.
And to be fair, you probably have gained some fans that you didn't have before because you are speaking to their very quiet, non-spoken fetishes.
Yeah, I have a handful of people who I chat with who are really cool individuals and like-minded in a lot of ways, and also inspirational. Like the last story I uploaded, I wouldn't have done it without the sort of motivation of a good author by the name of Shallow15, who wrote a story I think I mentioned once on a podcast called Sunset Sexy Times. Just a good way of like approaching Equestria Girl smut, and I think that's a niche that needs to be filled up more, and thought I would contribute, but I don't know if enough people are really motivated to care at this point.
I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we have a question from Milk Barcast. Mm-hmm. What a nerd. He asks, "What doth skirts?"
Nobody, I assure you.
Nobody.
But I skirts daily, all times. Skirts there.
No. At age 37, I assure you, I'm a well-practiced wizard.
Oh, well, I hope that someday you get to practice with your magic stick on somebody.
Nah, I have to grind for my epic mount. I'm fine.
Fine by me too.
I put on my robe and wizard hat. That's an old reference that dates me really hard.
There's
Alex,
go on. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, please go ahead.
No, there's a very wise line from one of the best pieces of pop culture, Matrix on the Enter the Matrix on the PlayStation 2, where a character says celibacy is a hands-on job.
I love it. This is true.
That's wonderful. Alex _, is up next, who asks, number 1, are you a skirts alt?
Obviously, I mean, you see the name here.
Yes.
Yeah, in truth, I'm ageist rainbow heretic ascendant.
How long did you work to come up with that name, or did someone make it for you?
No, I just wrote it a couple of minutes ago.
Okay. See, this is why you have talent. You just write something and it's great the first time.
Yeah, I had this plan in 2019. Whenever someone would create like a new like username, I'd be like, "Hello, welcome to FemFic. If you have any questions about femboys, just ask me."
Oh man, that's like dipping into like the Descendant territory, where he would welcome every single person on FemFic.
That's the joke.
Well, I'm just gonna move right on. I'm a funny person, I swear. Number 2.
Hey, before you go on, just to be clear, because it sounds like we all need it. What's that thing that girls wear on their asses and pussies to keep them covered?
G-strings.
No, I'm asking skirts. What is it called?
Panty liners?
Sure, you know what? Close enough. Drinking. Thank you.
Sounded like Pencil needed that. Number 2. What, in your opinion, makes a good party?
What, in my opinion, makes a good party? Lots of Dr. Pepper, I guess.
Why Dr. Pepper over other colas?
I got into it in like 1999, I think. I was spending night at a friend's house, and they had Dr. Pepper, and it's like the first time I ever drank it. And I think within an hour, I was dressing as clothes, dancing around. I don't know. It's just like I was getting into fan fiction at that time, and suddenly like the caffeinated taste of it sort of became my muse, so to speak. Like I just chug a bunch of that, and then I can write shit. And so it stuck. And ever since then, I've been quite horribly addicted.
What? I mean, obviously caffeine,
Mm-hmm.
but what about it is so addictive? What makes you come crawling back to it?
I don't know. I guess it's like a placebo thing. I mean, I'm waiting every year. You know, people have like their New Year's like resolution stuff. Every year pops around like this is the year. This is the year I get the stones. And it still hasn't happened.
Obviously, what keeps them around is the 23 mystery flavors.
Precisely.
Now, I don't have the picture on hand.
Was that the Jim Carrey movie 23? Or was that something else?
No idea. I remember that movie though. I wish I didn't. Thanks for that.
I wish I had the image lying around. But once upon a time, concerning Dr. Pepper, you posted an image of what I believe is just a corner of your flat, just covered in empty.
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Pepper bottles.
That was, I think, that was
there?
90. I think that was 90. God, that doesn't show my age. That was 2018, I think, or 2017. I was I had one of my multiple hiatuses from Australia, and I would need to get back to Utan, which was like I think book 8. Yeah, and I told myself I would not put my cans of Dr. Pepper into the recycling until I finished the portion I needed to upload again. I was actually writing the entire climax. So I just kept stacking them, and I'm like, this is getting pretty kaizo. And I started taking photos of it and stuff. And so finally I'm like, I got to make an event out of this. And so I made a YouTube video where I got the recycling bin and I filmed myself with a phone putting all the bottles into it. And I had Swan Song, who was a really cool marsupial. I had him do like a video to music of it, and I wonder if I could find it. It's in a blog somewhere, but moving on, I suppose.
All right, moving right along. Limonene is up next.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, do you have a secret interest in explosions too?
So the whole short skirts and explosions thing starts back to when I was in college around 2005 to 2007. And when I was taking various writing classes, like writing 101, creative writing and stuff, I had this habit of if a story I thought really sucked ass, at the end I would just write down needs more short skirts and explosions. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And that's why it became my pen name eventually.
Nice. Now there's... Go ahead.
And then you chose Chung Lee as your avatar to go along with that.
Well, I always loved that image where it was like the combination of like a hentai pic and the Mega Milk meme woman. Someone combined it into like the Chun Li image, and it's just like the most Kaizo looking pic ever. And so I stuck with that. I wanted to make that my avatar. For the longest time, I did.
I prefer Candy.
You keep using the phrase Kaizo, and that's a reference to Kaizo Mario World, I'm assuming.
Sure, if you want to believe that.
Now I don't actually know.
What's-
Shit.
What's the secret?
Hmm?
What is the secret? What does it really mean?
The secret can be found at a place called Victoria's where you can buy panties.
God damn it! Okay.
I needed that drink. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Speaking of panties,
Sure.
oh my god, we have all of the sailors here. Which
Mhm.
one is your favorite?
So I never actually followed the show much. It just didn't really translate to me. But I guess in hindsight, I'll just say Sailor Mercury because I think if I got like a fan art of Felicity, Flash would look the most like Mercury. So let's go with that.
You know what? Yeah, I see it.
Mercury, is that the blue-haired one?
I hope so.
Or is that the one who's cousins? They're both
No,
cousins.
that's
Something
I learned
more.
about that. I learned about the cousin thing recently. No, I think that's the two on the left.
Hair,
Oh.
she's the nerdy one who does all the tech stuff and creates bubbles.
Sure.
I happen
Speaking
to
of-
know a lot about this. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Speaking of bubbles, it's time for the mind bubbles. There's a segue here. We have a question from the other guy who asks, "How does this picture make you feel?"
Well, the acorns at the bottom are reminding me of my last trip to the bathroom.
Oh,
Was it because you saw nuts in there?
Something like that.
oh God. Why is this? Okay.
I like the fact that you can open up your Easter egg and inside is like a pony fetus.
Why do you like this idea? Like, I'm confused.
That I don't like.
About to
Like-
say, like it looks like a hybrid between like a changeling and a pony. Like if a changeling and a pony have a babby, like that's what happens.
Or if a
It
naked
looks-
mole rat became a pony.
It looks like it's in Men in Black and it's saying Orion Star Belt.
Actually, I can't not see Rufus from Kim Possible like turned into a pony now.
You're welcome. Happy to help. I'm sorry I've ruined everything.
All right, not enough coffee is up next. Number 1, how are you today?
I am made of mostly water and carbon.
Factually true. Number 2, tea or coffee?
Don't really have an appreciation of either. Tea parties are one thing, but you have to have the tea to get there, and I don't know. I never actually had coffee in my entire life.
You've never had coffee.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of guzzling warm liquids.
Fair enough. I mean, there are cold brews.
Cold
But-
coffee, like iced coffee and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a source of my caffeine.
fair enough. Dr. Pepper it is. Number 3, would you help defend Thingpone from one flamey boy?
Yeah, fuck you too!
Oh.
Whoa. Whoa.
He says what already balls deep in thing bone.
That's oh.
Depends on how it looks in a corset.
You know what? I think Thingpone would put on a pretty corset for you.
She
And
just looks at you, starts vibrating, and then starts peeling like a banana before a new form that's skinnier appears.
What the shit is wrong with you? Why are you like this, Enigma? Like,
That's
why
how-
do you exist?
That is how Thingpone do.
Ugh.
all right, it's time for everyone's favorite time of the cast. Enigma reads hard words. Enigma, read our comics' questions.
Oh God.
Give me a second, I'm scrolling.
Pay attention. Stay with it.
I was eating.
Well, fuck you. You don't get to eat. Don't you know this by now? You're not a real person.
I'm locked in the basement for like months at a time. You guys only throw me like one piece of. I don't see narcotics. Where is he?
I
There he is.
earned my right to get out of the closet. It's right underneath not enough coffee.
I found him. Have you kicked the pepper habit yet?
According to the previous conversation, I say that I haven't. I pretty much have like 1,000 milliliters a day.
You just inject it straight into your veins. I get it.
I might as well at this point.
Do you have a favorite bean?
Black beans and rice is pretty good, but generally speaking, I try to avoid beans. I always think about that scene from Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
Correct
Jesus.
The correct answer is jelly beans.
Oh, okay.
Donkeys, yes or yes?
Knack 2, baby.
Knack 2, baby. That's so witty. The reference, I get it.
You're just excited we got a reference.
This is a chicken wing.
I haven't gotten any big words for Enigma to read this week. No, I tell a lie. Where would you best be able to find silicium, francolithium, brexilithium, deroxide?
I don't know why you want to. Here they do nothing for the COVID glows.
Oh my god. To be fair, Enigma, I don't think I could read that first try.
I read it perfectly. I say so.
No, you're wrong.
No.
My favorite was always the Encycloalmanac Generography. It was that was a hint book for the Island of Dr. Brain, I think.
My favorite was always Rexicora falpatoris.
Well, you do like the dragon tits, so that explains that.
And now, Flam, if you'd like, go ahead and take Moostasm.
Yes. All right. Moving on to Moostasm, who says asking questions and keeping pantyhose on. Who then moves on? Yeah. Who then moves on to 1. Equestria, vacation spot to let your skirt out, or permanent residence to permanently hang your skirt.
Because ponies are the size of cats, I wouldn't wear a skirt around them, or else they could look up and see that which implodes.
Right, but would you be opposed to that?
Kinda.
Really? All right, then. You win this time. 2. You must replace one piece of historical artwork to include paintings, statues, literature, etc. with a piece of your own. What do you replace with what? And how is history irrevocably altered when you introduce a people like the ancient Greeks to femboy flash century?
You remember, I think somebody erected these big-ass, stone slabs, kind of like Stonehenge, and they etched in, some sort of message for the future in multiple languages. I would like to do that with, the entirety of Flash Sissy and replace all the Confederate monuments with that.
Return the slab.
Or suffer my curse.
What's your offer?
Wow,
the slab bitch.
That was unusually quick for us.
I'll say.
That's not the first time I've ever said that. And now that's on tape. God damn it.
Indeed. Yes. And finally, number 3. If you were the very model of a modern major general, would you have information primarily animal, vegetable, mineral, skirt, dress, or explosion?
I would like to take the physical challenge. Can I have a lifeline, Regis? Oops, sorry.
Wait, oh God! He just died today!
Maybe he did, actually.
What?
Not with that head. God fucking damn it.
Oh my God.
Oh good. Well, I'm going to another circle of hell for that.
You'll have company. Up next, we have the Glim Master, which has replaced their really wonderful, glimmer picture with absolute trash.
Who the fuck would do that?
Look, guys, I'm Flutter Priest. Cadence. If you got the movie reference, you're in a free hug from me. Number 1, is your... God damn it, Enigma. Is your favorite movie director Michael Bay because of the explosions?
I prefer Roland Emmerich when it comes to explosions.
Forgive me. What has he done?
ID4.
Oh.
The show, or?
Yes, the show 24.
I've never seen 24.
No, I said ID4.
Though
I'm dumb. Swing and a miss. Number 2, Life Doth What?
Not me, that's for damn sure.
Number 3, if you had to make a story based off in one of the Barcast members, who would you choose and what premise would you put him or her on it?
I would say that Enigma is prime feminization bait. So there you go.
Well,
yes. Oh my god.
It happened once already. Pencil did
Precisely. See, it's like revisiting themes. It's a motif, as it were.
I forget. Did we show you the picture?
That you did, sweetheart.
Explains it.
As soon as we dragged you up, we sent Skirts pictures because we knew it'd be great.
What a drag.
I am not my type.
It's okay. I'm not my type either.
Just to see that walk. Number 4. I see your avatar is Chun-Li, so I assume you like Street Fighter. If so, please explain to me why Dan Hibiki is the strongest Street Fighter character of all time, and why we should be afraid of his legendary taunt move.
I remember there's a comic once. It was a Sakura comic from Udon Productions, I think. Really cool, like syndicated production company. And at the end, there's a moment where Dan tries to do was it the Raging Demon? But he like trips on a rock and falls down on his face, and then like Sakura beats the crap out of him. As for Chun-Li, I liked her ever since like before my balls dropped. So she's part of the Holy Trinity, which is now a Quatrinity.
A Quatrinity.
Yeah.
I was not aware of this. Who's the Quatrinity now?
That would be Chun-Li, Belle, Supergirl, and Cinderella.
Nice.
I prefer Cammy because she's got them legs.
As Photoshop might say.
Not wanting
Noice.
to lick water off those abs. What
Oh
do you
my
get?
god! Why? Why Noice?
On real talk, Cammy started my love for fit girls. Like really.
Oh.
Yeah, I can agree with Flan there.
No shame there.
You can't achieve erection unless someone shouts "Cannon Strike."
Noice.
Oh god, that
Nice.
wasn't fun. Facing her, that's for sure.
Number 5. Time for a philosophical question. Some say ghosts are the souls of those who have died. However, what if that is not the case? Instead, ghosts are actually the ultimate beings. This being so powerful that the destruction of time and space, the whole universe, doesn't affect them. Basically, when you die, you become the ultimate being in life. This is a good explanation to the existence of ghosts?
Isn't this the plot to Pulse?
Pulse?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. Maybe I'm too young.
Probably. Anyways, I remember one Zappinator had a really cool title for a fic called Afterlife Crisis, and I've always wondered like how that could be written. But beyond that, I just don't believe in ghosts.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Also,
ghosts are just what happen when your life lags. Game
Ghosts,
doesn't realize you died.
ghosts are just the pre-cum of hell.
I'm honestly waiting for anything but Victorian age ghosts. I want like modern millennial ghosts.
You want somebody screaming like Britney Spears in your ear at 3 a.m. to wake you up, don't you, Flam?
No, you're gonna
Or-
be sleeping
Or
and you're just
bitching
gonna
at you
hear.
because
No,
they
I want to wake up and see someone fucking doing the floss at the end of my bed. Like,
No,
Oh
you're,
my
you're,
God.
you're,
Why
gonna be,
millennials did the floss? You are thinking
or
of the-
Zoomers. I don't fucking know,
They're
dude. Like,
very
You're good.
fucking.
you're gonna be sleeping and you wake up in the middle of the night because you hear someone saying, "Where are the beans?"
yeah. Beans.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
while
hear
sitting
someone
there
screaming.
holding their Starbucks coffee with their trendy hat and their ugly sunglasses and God knows what else they're fucking wearing.
You know what's the only thing better than ghosts?
What?
Ghosts wearing panties. You're welcome.
Damn
Hey,
right.
hey,
Also,
hey!
Pulse looks like the best Wes Craven film that I've never seen.
I have to ask, if a ghost is wearing panties, are they see-through?
No, that ruins it.
Damn. Okay, was curious.
Is that like Invisigirl? Like the clothes jokes from the bad Fantastic Four? I'm gonna shut up and move on because I think I had my foot in my mouth.
Good job. Please move on.
Muggany is up next. Why quaff mice?
Feminism.
Yes. Who's your favorite Star Wars villain? Darth Vader or Darth Maul?
No, I say the fans.
The fans. The fans are the best villain.
I mean, that's true with a lot of fandoms.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, and I'll just leave it at that.
Fucking zing. Got him. if every Disney princess was to get into a fight, no powers or anything, who do you think would win?
I would love to answer that question, but you skipped a bunch.
I'm so fucking stupid right now. Okay, your voice sounds a little. God damn it! Your voice sounds a little scratchy. Want a doth drop?
No, because I'm a dotard.
Are you okay with having a big titty doth girlfriend?
Only she's working at Doth IHOP.
I'm having the best day! How doth day?
Doris.
Doris. Okay, now it's time
See,
for Captain.
I get that joke, and I don't think anyone else in this chat did, because I don't think anyone else in this chat knows who the fuck Doris Day is.
I think I have a decade over all of you.
Probably not over me, but I am the
Well, we
oldest.
won't go into that. We won't go into that.
We won't go into that, but no, I know who fucking Doris Day is. I'll put it that way.
Captain Unstoppable is up next, our dear friend. Have you been to Disney as of late?
I most certainly have not. And if you want to talk about political stuff, I'm not going to go into that.
Totally fair.
Yes, please. Let's not do that. Thank you.
But in a more lighter tone about Disney, how many hidden Mickeys have you found, or are they just a conspiracy?
No, they truly exist, and I'm sure everyone's found them. Here's the trivia party question, the trivia thing. The biggest the biggest hidden Mickey technically doesn't exist anymore, but it's in Hollywood studios. If you look at helicopter shots from the 90s, the part of the Derby restaurant and the Central Promenade and the area leading up to the Chinese theater makes the Mickey Mouse ears.
Wow.
You're just walking along down there, and then you hear, "This looks like a good spot to find some ingredients."
Oh, that's a Kingdom Hearts reference. I'm kind of mad at you.
You're photographing stormtroopers, and you're like, "My mouth tastes like bubonic plague, and I don't know why."
Number 2. Do you even remember meeting me at Disney when I used to work there?
Yeah, and I feel bad for the poor bastard. I don't know how it happened, but he messaged me or something about oh, we could meet next time you're there, because I had this habit of blogging I'm going to Disney tomorrow. I have no life, and I showed up one day and he was basically working the monorail entry area at the terminal at the Transportation Ticket Center. And I don't think there was any plan or anything. I just kind of stand around there like a fidgety neckbeard and sort of well, see ya. And poor dude, he was just doing his job.
Monorail.
Enigma, what is with you trying to make references out of everything today? What is going on? Does your mind have an original thought, or is it just full of stupid? I don't understand how you're still able to breathe without being told to do so by some sort of pop culture media.
He made love to Seth MacFarlane last night.
See, I have this headcanon right now that Enigma feels threatened by Skirts' big reference energy. And so he's trying to Peacock assert his authority over the Barcast area for referential humor. Except his Peacock fan, is just a big dick and not a fan. We're not a fan of your dick.
I didn't
There was
do
a
it.
joke. All right.
That would imply that Enigma has, a human penis instead of just a little nubbin. So we'll just leave it at that.
Ricardo Pequeño.
Yes.
The next, wow, a little bit of deja vu here. If every Disney princess was to get into a fight, no powers or anything, who do you think would win?
So I'm reminded of a webcomic where it's Goku versus Superman, and it has Goku and Superman glaring at each other they're about to fight. And the next panel is Goku, buddy, I can never punch you. It's oh, let's go have a drink, Superman. It'd be the same thing. They just hug it out, and someone take photos of it and send them all to me.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph saves the internet. You know what I'm talking. Yeah. Favorite country at Epcot?
That'd be Mexico, because it's air conditioned and smells like chlorine.
Totally fair.
Second favorite would be Canada, because I like the Martin Short experience.
I can't say I was aware of that one last time I went. I know I spent a long time over in Japan because they had taiko drummers, and I was like, this is everything I wanted in life, and
That
it was
sounds like
so
a personal problem.
Baby,
Yeah.
do you actually think there's a Martin Short experience in Epcot?
No, I don't know anymore. Was it a reference? I feel stupid.
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
Who is the hottest Disney princess and who is the hottest Disney prince?
Neither, because I'm self-sexual. I can only make love when I'm in the room.
Would you rather fuck a Disney princess or an Equestria princess?
Oh, I gave the wrong answer. What was the first one? Who's the hottest Disney princess and who's the hottest Disney prince? Oh, the answer to both of that is you, Flutter Priest. Depends on Pencil's mood in the next couple of days.
Yay! I'm gonna be a woman!
And I hope she takes
Well,
pictures.
I think vaginas are gross and slimy, so you have fun with that, Priest Pie.
Chick with dick.
You got everything you wanted, Priest, but at what cost?
Hey, I have
About
tits.
about Tree Fitty.
RK Striker JK5 is up next. What is the first television show you remember seeing?
That's a hard one. I basically grew up on television. Some of my earliest memories ever, probably age 2 or something, at like the duplex that we first lived in. My mom turning on the TV and saying, "Ooh, dinosaurs!" and it was some clay motion thing from the 80s. I also have a memory of my mom carrying, like, in my mom's arms, she's holding me, and I'm like turning off the television per instruction. She's like, "Good job," that kind of shit. But I grew up on like tons of Disney because I think there's like this 1 month in the 80s where the family did a trial of like the Disney Channel and just recorded all sorts of shit on VHS, and that became like, you know, what we would watch repeatedly during our childhood. Other than that, as a young conservative religious individual, I grew up with Gospel Bill. There's a reach of a reference if anybody can relate to that. That's fun conversations for a non-podcast time.
Yeah.
And as growing up, I think Nick and Night was a way for families to come together because you could watch like shit from the 50s and 60s that like my parents were weaned on and sort of like glean on what entertained them. And so Beverly Hillbillies, Dick Van Dyke,
I Dream of Jeannie.
That was broadcasted later, but yeah, that too, I suppose.
All right. If different than that, what's the first television show you remember seeing and liking?
I mean, I've always been a big Star Trek person. So when I discovered that Star Trek Next Generation was a syndicated thing that would be showing every weekday, I became hooked and I got grandfathered into it and became like one of the staples of my life.
Yes. Who's best captain?
So I've always been a Picard fan, but lately, after having been marathoning Deep Space Nine with Scampi via Netflix, I'm warming up to Cisco a lot more than I used to, you know. But generally speaking, it's typically Picard and then Janeway, Cisco, and probably Archer and Shatner. I don't have a lot of love for Kirk, unfortunately. I think he's okay. Just I felt like ever since then, as Star Trek expanded its horizons, they made more interesting protagonists.
I would agree with that, and also I don't think Kirk is a particularly good captain.
Particularly what? Sorry?
I don't think he's a particularly good captain.
Fair.
I would agree with that.
I had just this really dumb headcanon with Next Generation where just Riker gets progressively dumber the longer his beard is.
Mm-hmm.
Works. I've actually gone through and watched it with this theory. It works.
But we'll just have to see. Up next, skirts is dead. Oh, pencil's dead. Do you like short skirts and a long jacket?
So the reason that triggers me is that when I play Overwatch, and I play Overwatch a lot, my gameplay, my gamer name is Short Skirts, and it's like the one thing everyone says. And as soon as the match starts, it's like, do you like long jackets?
Oh my god.
Snorkel. I'm like, I prefer ball gowns, thank you.
What about a long, long man?
I've seen that. I know the reference. And I know that they get together at the end.
Marula is up next. Says Lemur Party here. We bring the hams.
I'll take your word for it.
Now we're off to Kalani Tides, who asked best ship and worst ship.
So over the last couple of years, I've been really warming up to the idea of flash pie, which I think is something that needs to be written a lot more. And that's outside of like the realm of pink skirtsy and stuff. I just think it's an interesting contrast to have Flash Sentry and Pinkie Pie like shipped together. But I think in my heart of hearts that my favorite ship of all is probably Syset. Again, Grocery Girls. I mean, there are a lot of people like, what? Not Apple Dash? And it's like, yeah, but that was kind of like the first half of the skirts. Now it's, besides when it becomes canon, it's like no longer interesting, right?
Yeah. but also like Syset, I mean, it's all but canon. Like, there's no way they're not teasing that in the show.
I would argue that Rare Jack is more canon than Syset.
You're telling me that Syset aren't, off in the side making chemistry?
I mean, they do in my fanfics, but I think taking the show at at face value, I think they're just really good friends. I think there's a lot to explain about Sunset's motivations and looking after Twi because of the fact that the Princess Twilight mentored her, and she's trying to make a positive impact in the world and be sort of like a paragon of friendship. It doesn't have to be shipping. I mean, it's fun. Shipping is fun, God knows, but for like the sake of like literary merit, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah. Then let's see. Next question. I'm debating a little bit because we kind of went over your
Yeah,
name.
we did. We kind of did.
So, how does having a top 20 on FimFiction story feel? Does it ever affect your other works, your headspace, or does it make other people expect things from your writing?
This is going to sound very vain and kind of dense, but I don't know what they're referring to. What's in the top 20 of mine?
Maybe Background Pony.
It could also be Numbers Don't Lie. That got a lot of hits, and then there's Appjack. No, that doesn't have enough votes to make a top 20. I don't think. I'm thinking like Statistics, and I don't know which one. If it's Background Pony, I mean that I've been living in the shadow of that ever since that finished. But then I also kind of hit a new phase when that was done. I'm like, there's phases to the whole skirts phenomenon, if you're willing to call it that. And like 2011 through 2013 was like the depressive try hard emo skirts, and after that I just kind of like, fuck it, I just want to write whatever I want. And then I found my true calling, which is adventure yarns, like shit posts and a lot of feminization smut stories, and I haven't looked back as hard as I could.
So this may be an incredibly dumb question, but like as a writer who's like dealing with kind of writer stuff, and the large majority of our audience is writing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with where you're at writing like stories? Like,
I'm better than I was months ago. This has been a tough year for everyone, right? But at the same time, between having some extra free time and wanting to get my mind off of stuff, I finally decided now is the best time to get back into Australia, which was on hiatus for 2 years. And going back to that and finding a new pace, like I'm not 100% writing every day. I'm trying to, but I'm pacing myself differently than I used to be. And I'm telling myself like, okay, so I do like a chapter of Wolf Roadie at least once a week. And we're talking like maybe 6,000 to 8,000 word chapters. And then in between I'll work on something else and have a day off and just kind of chill. And it seems that almost entirely, people have received my return to Australia very positively, which is nice and encouraging. And even when I was planning on making a return, when I was reading up on like the comments and stuff that people left, I could just tell that everyone really loved and appreciated the story, even without ego attached. It just seemed like a good time to give people what they want, do something positive, and try to like bring the community, or at least a niche of the community, back together. So I feel like I'm accomplishing that. Am I accomplishing it as quickly as I want to? No, but I'm not feeling pressure to as well. It's like the polar opposite of where I was in 2015, where I was writing 3 dailies. Like I'm talking like maybe 3,000 to 5,000 words every day of 3 different stories and losing my fucking mind. I mean, it kind of felt cool doing that, but eventually the style of writing daily just to write and upload daily was hurting the narrative, and it's easily seen in the earlier half of Ulfarodi, which is the latest Australia book. It really suffers for me just writing for the fuck of it to get something out without really trying to keep a good structure to the plot. But now I'm actually writing at a leisurely pace, and I'm allowing to write other stuff in between, and I feel really chill. And that's the only real, no offense to y'all and stuff, but that's kind of the only reason I'm on the podcast now, because Milk, bless his heart, he has asked me a lot of times over the last couple of years, like, hey, we'd love to have you, we really appreciate you and stuff, and it'd be cool to have you on the podcast again. And I was like, thank you, I would like to, but I don't feel like I'm ready. And I felt this year that I'm finally ready. That's why I'm here.
No, and I think that's totally fair. Like that's totally fair. I feel like there's such an unseen mental health element when it comes to writing stories on the site, and when you're not fully in it, or you feel like there's something distracting you or holding you back, it can be hard to kind of immerse yourselves in that narrative and figure out why you're doing it. And I'm just so happy that you're writing for you, and you got to give me some sweet tips so I can figure out how to do that.
Well, I've always kind of written for me, but then again, I also would put a lot of undue like mental pressure on myself and stuff, and so eventually I crashed, and then I had the hiatus and a lot of years where I wasn't doing a whole lot, and now I'm back, but I'm back at a pace that my semi-boomer self can handle now,
Yeah. And avoiding burnout is extremely important.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to happen regardless, and you have to accept that fact. But you can also accept the fact that you can come back from it.
Mm-hmm. From the ashes, like Trixie.
Okay. I was going to say more like Sunset Shimmer, but all right.
More like Diamond Dogs. Up next, segue. Ha! I made it work! Oh, I'm so sad. Can you do a Diamond Dog impression?
What are some of the things they say?
Gems.
Pony! Gems! Does that sound like how they say it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Very nice. Debbie is up next and has, my goodness, so many questions.
Apparently.
Such gifts. Such rainbow dash.
So that whole GIF thing that you're seeing there, or GIF if you're of the inclination, is what the Noble Jury chats, or specifically Lemur Cave, will upload to the main communication channel whenever a new person joins. And they're very keen on doing that on a consistent basis. The reason for the exclamation point quote Epcot is because that's what triggers the bot, which we named Epcot, reference to the OC and Apple Dashery to link those images.
Oh, nice.
This is a big Noble Jury reference.
Yay. Gotta love you, Noble Jury crew. With that out of the way, crossed out is read any good books lately?
No, I haven't read much of anything lately, unless you count Preliminary Tour by Shallow 15, which is an interesting world-building erotica work in the realm of Equestria Girls, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to actually come back and grab that as a suggestion. How is your listening through Cram It 2020 coming along?
So a couple of weeks ago, I created a blog saying I need more music, like a whore. Like, give me more music, just shove it down my panties. There you go. And I just wanted new samples of music to kind of get into. And so people sent me enough to make like a 400 song playlist. It's more than I could have asked for, and I have to admit, I've not been listening to it every single day, but I did sort of create a like a playlist called King Crammed, which is like a compilation of the ones that I've listened to. I'm like, oh, this was all right, so I could listen to them again and hopefully maybe zero in and make my own playlist that could define the time or something. I don't know. But there's a lot of random shit on that suggestion list for sure. And if there's anything I've learned is that I do not like Frank Zappa. I'm sure there are people who do, but holy fuck, what the hell?
Jesus, Frank! Get your shit together. Just play the right notes.
I don't get it. I don't know. My earballs. Ow.
The next question. Oh, Jesus Christ. You're going to hurt me with this, aren't you? You're going to hurt me. Our friendship's going to be torn apart, Skirts.
Oh, this one.
What are your feelings about the sweet, magic, fast, posh, fun, cute pony life?
I actually have not seen a single episode. But again, I've not seen half the episodes of season 9 of Friendship and Magic. I guess I'm saving them for a really flaccid day. I mean, I guess I can describe myself as casually ambivalent. It looks cute, and more pony is better than no pony. And I'd rather not just add to the garbage pile and complain about it. But yes, it's a good excuse to annoy the fuck out of you, Priest.
It's true. It's so true. There's this motherfucker over here lures me in with amazing Fluttershy fan art, and I'm like, yeah, today's the day. It's like, like, this is awesome. You're adorable. Like, this is sweet. Thanks, Skirts. How are you? And then sends me noice. It's like, fucking,
Don't blame me. Blame Hasbro.
Fucking Milk, I see you. Fuck off. This is where you laugh. All right. Which chapter is, quote unquote, the best thing you've ever written in your whole life?
I feel like I've explained this on a previous podcast before, so I'll make it short. It's chapter 259 of Appledashery, and the name of the chapter is called Miracle Breakfast. It's a weird sitcom-like situation where Rainbow Dash is having to convince Photo Finish that she is a duchess of a foreign land so that she can room with her and like somehow sneak into her vault to get like a broken piece of Discord. It's a long fucking train wreck of a fic. But in the middle of this arc, she's sitting at the breakfast table with Photo Finish and her two children, her two colts, both named Hans and Hans. And they're watching a projection of like a recording of when Photo Finish gave birth to both Hanses in like a horse trough surrounded by her friends. What the fuck? and it's based on a it's based on something I heard on a local college radio program. I was like in line at the bank to do a deposit for where I work, and there's this woman. It's like college radio. They have like amateur hour. Like every hour someone comes on and has like their own show, and they have like a slot for like 2 semesters or something. And this young woman, probably 24, 25, very modern and new age and stuff, and she's with her kid who's probably age 4 on this radio program and talking about how that morning they were watching footage of the kid being born and having stereo while watching it. And I just mixed that with like shit I've learned online about people who actually give birth underwater. And there's like this photo on like a cursed image photo of like a family and a jacuzzi that's just blood red with like this baby in her arms that's with the umbilical cord still attached. I'm like, I got to make a fanfic reference to that. And so it's Rainbow Dash trying to hold her breakfast in with these two like Nazi youth children cults watching this projection Photo Finish, like screaming her head off like Yoko Ono. It's whoa. Yeah, and then Photo Finish is like explaining it all in like this thick phonetic German accent. I just love it.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Ties in perfect to the next question, because the next question is, you keep saying that nobody reads Appledashery, and clearly, like, this is an example of why, because the shit they put in there, you would have thought someone would come to you and be like, Skirts, man, are you okay? Like,
Appledashery is that fic that like 30 years after the fact there would be like a cult following. If there's like a pony fanfic equivalent of Rick and Morty. People like Rick and Morty sucks. Did you ever read Appledashery? It was released 20 years ago, but nobody gave a shit about it. And then people were like, oh wow, and they make new memes about this thing that they never read before. That's how I feel about Appledashery. It was a horrible train wreck that I wrote on the side while also doing Australia because I needed like some other way to vent this weird amalgam of like concepts that had no point fitting in any other fanfic, and it is such a train wreck. I mean, that's kind of the joke, is that it's so bad that it sort of makes you want to read it. And there have been, and despite the joke, and nobody reads Appledashery, I have met people only because they read it. Intricate Disguise discovered me, and I think fan fiction by reading Appledashery from what he just told me.
Wow.
And there are people at the Noble Jury who love the fic as well, but I abandoned it a long time ago. And unlike Australia, I A, don't really have the energy to go back to it, and B, I've forgotten a lot of the things that are supposed to happen because I didn't keep notes when I was writing it. It's the first fic to reach 1,000 chapters, and I discovered it was the limit. I'm like, well, fuck, what do I do now? So I had to delete the last 10 chapters, compile them, and create like a new ending to it. It's just, oh my God. And I made a volume 2 that went nowhere. And I'm sure if it's like the football in the future, we all get to live forever. Yeah, I return back to the fic and continue it. But right now, it's not on the top of the list.
Appledasher's Bizarre Adventure.
Essentially, and like fucking Christ, it's so I could spend a whole podcast talking about it, but because nobody wants to do that, I say nobody reads Appledashery and finito. You know.
Hey, Milk could be all over that. But
yeah?
the question specifically is, haven't you read Appledashery?
Well, that's the thing. It's such a base, stupid thing that I've like barely even gone back to reread the chapter that I've written. And this is something that I experience a lot myself. Toot my own horn with all the fucking words I've written all throughout the last 20 years. Even back in 2004 when I was writing These Black Guys, a Teen Titans fanfic, that was like about 2.7 million words long over the course of like a year and a half. I would barely ever go back and reread any of the stuff. So when I eventually did, and this happens to Appledashery as well, I laughed my ass off because I don't remember having written most of that stuff because I just wrote it, uploaded it, and never went back. So it's like a weird phenomenon where like I feel like I'm reading somebody else's story, you know?
I've been there, especially when like I was putting together stories for the book that I sold at BronyCon, where it's just like I haven't read these stories in fucking 3-4 years, and I'm like, holy shit, this writer's got some spunk. Who are they? Oh fuck, it's me.
And since we're on the topic of hindsight, maybe now is a good time to plug in the sanctuary thingy.
It's
I was
true.
waiting to get an edge in to tell Priest that we were missing this because this lovely person that you're reading the questions of posted like 17 questions, so we're not going to get to all of them.
I love edging.
Meanwhile, BRB, I got to drain the acorn.
Do it! Drain the acorn! Priest, go!
Hey, Pencil.
Hey, what?
Did you know that we donate money to horses?
Yes, I did know that.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's absolutely no reason for me to absolutely explain to you the things that you already know. But I'm going to do it anyway because this is America.
You up. Please finish this ad.
I kind of hate myself right now, but okay. So we take money from Patreon. And we also take money from bits on Twitch. We also take money from ads on YouTube. And 100% of those proceeds go to horse rescue charities. We donate money to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary out in California, where we sponsor a horse by the name of Little Bit. We have a money-losing machine here. We don't make any money off this cast, nor do we ever intend to. But if you would like to help us say that we've been able to raise over $700 thanks to your guys' collaborated efforts last year for Little Bit, please consider donating. Also, if you don't feel comfortable donating to some random jerks on the internet that run a horse podcast, please consider donating to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary directly. If you'd like to give us bits in a very free way on Twitter,
I can do this part. This is the part I do, Priest.
Go ahead, Pencil.
Thank you. If you'd like to donate bits to us rather than actual money, you can do so. Click the tiny diamond in the lower right-hand side of the chat. You click the diamond. You watch an ad. You get bits. You take the bits. You donate them to us. And the bits translate into real-world money for us. At the end of the cast, we will read out loud our top donators. Right now, our top donator is Nugget with 100 bits. if you guys can do it, all of the money goes to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary. We do not keep any of it for ourselves. So awesome. Please do so. Red Wings Horse Sanctuary is very special, and I love them to death.
You know what else?
Catch the piss stream?
Nope, we didn't listen. We were doing good.
Acorns exposed on stream.
Oh.
Bring the mic with me to the bathroom. What am I going to do? Oh my God, I pantied her.
What are you going to do in the bathroom, Oni-chan?
Marsupials will never be the same.
I once wanted to write a Equestria Girls fanfic called Urinal Etiquette for Horsewomen.
What the fuck?
Okay.
There's going to be a Fuda story.
Yes, good.
No, I kind of love this. Like, you can do a whole, like, needlessly long write-up on, like, do you aim for, like, the little, like, urinal cake in the center? Or do you go, like, against the wall? Do you go, like, full dick on straight stream towards the wall so that way it makes that splashing sound? Or do you, like, pee, like, at an angle so that way it's, like, stealthy piss?
Yeah, you know, I love that thing where, like, there's, like, that one pubic hair and you had to kind of, like, arc it like Junkrat and sort of, like, aim it down into, like, the water.
Fair enough.
You're playing pachinko with your piss. It's great.
I just hate when that fucking hair gets like tucked in underneath the hood and it just like feels like you're like fishing lining your penis. Anyway, on to actual questions. Edit number 5 or so. My Kersta, that's a word, wants to know what is the best hugging position?
That would be Amazon, human, Fluttershy, spooning a petite femboy, facing each other.
Wonderful. That said, we are getting close to running out of time for this cast, guys. If we what?
Read the I love you one. That was the one I was trying to get you to read.
Oh, well, you said the last. Okay, I love you. Question mark. Can I pounce hug you when I see you? No, seriously. Thank you for caring all those years. Sometimes I just tear up and wonder how life could be so real and overwhelmingly rich. And your stories are part of what make me feel that way. Thank you for bringing the noble jury together.
Panties.
Yay!
Yay! Now then, a question from Fraggles. How the hell have you managed to write so many words as your alt? And what do the names of your Rainbow Dash Head East stories mean, if anything?
The answer for the first question is daily diarrhea. As for the what the titles mean, now here's the thing. I tend to cheat a lot. Someone out there who may or may not be an Austral fact checker has created a wiki for Austral, and sometimes I cheat and I actually go back to that. I always wonder if if George Lucas grows up to be 100 and he's like, fuck it, I'm doing a new sequel series. He's just gonna wiki himself. What did I do with Princess Leia's left tit? And then just goes on wiki to discover it. That being said, Austral essentially means East Horse. Because the titles of the Austral series are typically butchered words from Old Norse that I looked up on an online dictionary, and I would combine the two. So Astra is is east, and Ao is horse. If you ever watch Lord of the Rings, Eomer is the Ao part is a reference to horse, horsewoman, I think is what that's supposed to mean. And I remember hearing that on one of the Blu-ray documentaries. So I looked up Norse dictionary shit, and because of that, Elgin Biro is somehow supposed to mean endurance burden. I don't know. This sounds embarrassing, but I don't know exactly what Inhibitor and Odajot mean. But one of them is supposed to mean frantic companionship. Your Ringer means disturbance ring. Your Ferda means full yesterday. I won't go into In and Hooter because that's spoilers. Utan is beyond. And I don't know if anyone's ever figured out what Ulf Rodi means, but I remember that I went on one of the Norse dictionaries and I literally found the words for dark and dismal because it's a grimdark fucking book. And so I was like, just dark dismal. This is the Yanks book.
To briefly interject, Eomer, I always found this entertaining. Eomer is not horsewoman. It's horse famous.
Horse famous?
I'm not even kidding. It's horse famous. It absolutely is horse famous. Eowyn is the female. Eomer's name.
Oh, Eomer was Carl Urban. That's right.
Eomer translates as horse famous.
Great.
So,
wonderful.
Oh my god. That when the horse fame hits too hard.
So, like for April 1st next year, everyone needs to have like Carl Urban from Lord of the Rings as their avatar.
Oh, we'll make it happen. It's time. Remember this. Chat, remember this. Please? Please. Thank you.
It's not going to happen. There's
No,
once
it
a,
probably
there's
will
once
not.
a there's once a Seattle's light where at the end it's like we're going to bring you the BronyCon skirts and like everyone forgets about that.
Careful what you wish for. We might
I would have said
but
no anyway, so
we
whatever.
might
I
fucking
shouldn't
do
bitch.
it.
Yeah, I heard they. Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Moving on to a non-pencil.
Oh,
Oh,
A non-pencil has questions.
please do.
I
Go
think it
for
would
it.
be. Oh, you want me to?
Yes.
Okay.
Love you.
What doth file?
Panties.
What doth flies?
Panties.
What doth Eiffel?
Panties.
What doth leaf?
Bloomers. Just kidding. Panties.
Hey,
Yay.
Pam, too. We drink now.
I'm just gonna gently sip this scotch.
Rip and sip.
Priest, don't get drunk. You have things to do tomorrow in the morning.
It's true.
No hangover and vomit. I would be very angry at you. Please drink responsibly.
No, I'm still on my first class. I promise.
Good.
Up next, we have questions from Ice Star that Enigma will read.
Okay. What is your favorite book?
My my favorite book is A Separate Piece by John Knowles, which, unlike Catcher in the Rye, you don't find in Pockets of Assassins. Just kidding. I'd say my favorite books are probably On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. Big fan of House of Leaves, like Mark Z. I can't pronounce his last name.
No.
Unlike everyone else in the universe in this woke in the society we live in, I actually unironically like Ready Player One. I think the novel is great and the movie is actually pretty decent too, and really dig that. I really enjoyed Neuromancer by William Gibson when I read that. And since I've heard on Barcast that you all count graphic novels, I have to plug it in for Watchmen. Watchmen's great.
My favorite book is The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Did you say Chatterpillar?
Caterpillar.
You said Chatterpillar.
I said caterpillar.
Chatterpillar it is.
Sir, ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
What is a story you wish you had written?
So this I could go on pedantically and philosophically about for an entire podcast, but long story short, there's a bunch of stuff I wish I had written, but never could because they're all usually long form pieces of garbage or whatnot. One that the noble jury know about is Ponymonium, which is an idea I had to be the follow-up to In the Ponies, not a sequel, but I had this vision that when I finish In the Ponies, I was going to write this story called Ponymonium, which, based on season 2 and 3 lore, was going to be about Twilight Sparkle being banished to the moon for 1,000 years, and it would be played out in this really long and sort of chronologically interwoven way between her coming back like Nightmare Moon did, and then meeting the new elements of harmony, and then her life on the moon as she like finds the denizens of the moon that like Luna left behind. It's going to be like a very long, epic, sad thing, and so I find myself putting Ponymonium, as in pandemonium, as a Bat Pony City in like various different pieces of fiction that I've written. I always want to write a heist story like Ocean's 11 starring Trixie to explain how the elements of harmony from season 1 ended up in the Golden Oaks Library at the beginning of season 2. Instead of Discord moving them, I was thinking that like Trixie went on a heist to steal the elements of harmony, but things went south and she somehow just stuck it in the Golden Oaks Library before leaving. It was going to be about her and her team and how she has like a character growth thing throughout it. There's one I've always wanted to write that I consider like the best thing I've never written. Y'all know Inner Light from Next Generation?
Yes, I do. I do.
So the idea of like a character living out a non-real, a fictitious, artificial life in a span of minutes. So I had this idea about some Deus Ex MacGuffin thingy causes Rainbow Dash to fall into a coma, like maybe some sort of like Everfree monster sting or something. She tries to save some pony and she succeeds, but she takes the bullet, so to speak, and she's in a coma. and she's going to die. That's not going to. There's no way to change that. Rainbow Dash is in a coma. She's going to die. But Princess Luna, being the dream walker, is able to create a continuous dream that runs at like 10 times speed, kind of like in Inception rules. So if you imagine like every minute is like a day, like every minute in real life is like a day to Rainbow Dash. And so Princess Luna is like, okay, she's going to die, but I can simulate for her the rest of her life. You, her best friends, let's all come together and design the rest of Rainbow Dash's life. And it's like this sort of long, melancholic kind of drag out exploration of what does it mean to be there for your friend and be loyal, and like, would you make a perfect life for them, or would you actually instill like moments of tragedy so that they can have a catharsis at the end of it and stuff. There's just going to be kind of another one of those skirting existential things.
And there's still that story I owe you with we talked about this like, I don't know, a year ago. Tempest has a thing for Flash Magnus, and Twilight has a thing for Tempest.
Sure.
And they get pregnant because they handhold at the end.
Are you sure you weren't like talking to Super Trampoline?
I was talking to you.
Okay.
Anyway, Enigma asked the next question.
If you could stew the inners of anyone in the world, who would it be?
Probably Orson Welles. He had a lot to spare. Could probably feed Somalia.
Did you say wifey Somalia?
Oh, not even close. Oh my god, Enigma. What the fuck? Read the next question.
What is the best thing about Flash Sentry?
How much time is left on the podcast?
Oh, god.
Plenty.
Yeah, so the fact that he exists is an amazing thing. God, I can go on forever about this, but I won't. Basically, why does Flash Sentry exist beyond freaking movie one? Because he was written because essentially Equestria Girls is a Monster High wannabe that wanted to sell like a high school niche flavored toy line. So they went above and beyond, ass over elbow, to introduce Twilight into this human world, give her a human boyfriend that kind of just fits this kind of chalk mold of what a high school like sweetheart would be. But then either, I don't know who decided that was not going to work. I don't know if it was the Brony crowd or whatever, but it's just, he didn't quite resonate. He was only like a pretty boy, right? And so as the movies went on and Princess Twilight doesn't come back, we have Sci-Twi, like the alternate universe Twilight, which props to them. They didn't just have her fall in love with Flash. They gave her Timber, which is, and maybe not other people like Timber, but they didn't just pretend that like the carbon copy of Twilight from another universe would fall for the same guy, and I'm glad they didn't. But it's like with each progressive installment of the series, Flash has less and less of a purpose for existing, and that intrigues me because it's like on some level they seem to appreciate him, or like they feel almost like they feel sorry for like creating him for this one artificial purpose. And I see something very meta about that. Like a story idea I would like to write someday, and I won't go into it, but it was simply titled Flash Sentry and Timber Spruce Are Dead, like a satire of Tom Stoppard's play, but dealing with like the cookie cutter boyfriend stereotypes of Equestria Girls, because it feels like to me that Flash Sentry existed for this one purpose, and now there's no need for him, but he's still being dragged along, and he's like, why am I here? I just feel bad for the guy. And I have a thing for sad, melancholic male protagonists. It's like a jumping base for creating all sorts of positive, cathartic stories for the most part. And as in the last couple of years, when I decided to explore more in the way of smut, erotica stuff, well, he's like the closest thing I can think of, like a self-insert. So that's why he became what he is in a lot of my stories.
Very much a sort of, what is my purpose? Oh, Twilight likes you. Oh my god.
Yeah, did he even contribute anything to the movies?
No.
What is my purpose? You wear panties. Oh god.
What is my purpose? You drive a sports car and you're someone's ex. Sort of, my god?
Continue.
What inspires you to write?
Caffeine, panties, and a marsupial alumni.
That's sip.
Marsupial alumni. I didn't know they graduated. Do you have a favorite kind of comment to see, even if you don't reply?
Well, I almost never reply. That's kind of like the rule book. God, how many? I have like 133 unread things in my PM file. I don't like commenting on stuff because I feel like it pollutes the numbers, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like I look at fanfics, like one shots that people write, and someone's like replying to every comment. And it's like, you're inflating the numbers. How do you know like how many people are actually like giving a shit about your thing? So I usually just hang back. That being said, I do like when comments actually talk about the stuff that goes on. They wax hypothetical about things that can happen and they express enthusiasm about it. Like I'm not going to go into specifics, but there's a Oferoti comment just like a couple days ago where someone caught on to the fact that the bat ponies, I call them Cerosians in Australian lore, they speak a language called Moonwhinny, which is supposed to try to emulate the sound of like what a horse speaks. If you ever read or heard of what is it, John Swift's Gulliver's Travels? There's like a book where the Gulliver goes to a world where there's intelligent horses, and then there's like wild men called Yahoos, I think. Does that ring a bell? The horses speak in like this language that emulates horse whinnying, and so I created a thing called Moon Whinny, and I have a few trigger words that actually mean something that has like a translation, but most of it is gobbledygook they make up on the spot. But I insert enough of them into the dialogue that someone who actually pays attention is like, oh, they were talking about this thing before it happened in the actual prose, and like that's cool that people actually pay enough attention to notice it and then have the wherewithal to comment on it. It means that I'm actually getting through to readers, and that's always satisfying. That's always a really cool pat in the back.
Different sort of question. Sorry, tangent. What is the most memorable meme comment that you laugh about?
The most memorable meme comment?
Yeah, like something that like was probably like meant to be ill will, but you just looked at it and you're like, that's funny.
I can't think of one at the moment. If I prepared, I might have been able to know, but
No worries. Just thought I'd ask. And I wouldn't know what I would answer, but I know that those sorts of things exist.
I suppose. I mean, every now and then, I surf the Chans and MOP in particular, and they always have a very abrasive opinion with a sort of knee-jerk, circle-jerk hate, but whatever. But sometimes they'll say something where if it's actually like slightly complimentary, it means a lot coming from LOP. I'm like, oh, Zaid, you're cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I found it. We did have the discussion.
Okay,
2 years
but
ago.
that's for another fucking time because we are really short on time, motherfuckers. So, please move on.
Nick was asking questions.
Sure, that's the end of them.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay. That was dumb by me. Lone Trooper says placeholder. Yay. And Nick Eagle asks why.
Panties.
And now, Jake the Army guy. Holy shit, Jake. Holy shit, Jake.
Should we pick some of them? I don't know.
Actually, I can handle this.
Cool.
All right.
I'm gonna rapid fire some of the questions at you, and I think
All right.
I think you can answer some of these fast. Are you ready?
Well, this is as far. I stopped my notes right before this because I didn't think we'd get this far, so I'll do my best.
Here we go. What doth petticoats?
That's the money shot.
C. That's the question. Trixie.
Oh, tricks.
Are you gay?
What would I answer to this? I'm not gay. I'm just vaginal challenged.
That's amazing.
That's vaginal challenged.
All right. Now I'll actually ask some of the real questions. Also, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow wearing a pair of pretty pink panties?
Negative Dolores.
Funniest movie of all time.
I always return to Hot Fuzz, and always makes me snicker.
It's a good film.
You're a good film.
Aww.
If you were to mainline 3 gallons of Dr. Pepper while wearing a ball gown and listening to Beauty and the Beast soundtrack on the Disney World monorail, would I inherit your powers?
The byproduct would be wizardry into perpetuity.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Then I'll actually ask like maybe 2 real questions since we went through that. When are you going to buckle down, bite the bullet, and finish what is certain to be your true magnum opus, the story for which you will eternally be remembered, the story which shall change the world forever, Twist Clops?
So Twist Clops has taught me a lesson, and that's to never commission a cover art unless you know for damn sure you're going to finish the story. I think Jake has a peculiar love. Jake is awesome, by the way. Jake is a fantastic guy and a great lemur all around. I think Jake has a particular love for twist clocks, which was a weird crap shot that I think I wrote in 2014, maybe even earlier, with the idea that Twist, the filly from Friendship is Magic, suddenly gains Cyclops' power and sort of uses it to run the entire village into the ground and become lord of all that she surveys, because it's established at the start of the story that she's from like a weird stereotypically broken household of like drug runners and stuff. Is really weird, abrasive, kind of ill will Adult Swim fodder like story, and I just never got around to it. I was the money shot of that fic, which I never got to, is that she has a phobia of denim, so that at the end when she's had the climactic like eye laser fight with someone tosses jeans at her and she's like jeans, and she's shooting lasers everywhere. Beyond that, the only really good thing about that fic is that there's a moment where Sweetie Belle is in the back of Scootaloo's wagon and they're going somewhere, and she's like, should I take the helmet off? And they're like, no, sweetie, just leave it on. And she's like, I got bugs in my teeth. That's the best thing I remember from that story.
To get a bit serious, you are most well known and followed. You are one of the most well known and followed authors on the site. What made you comfortable enough, or to gain the confidence, to let the world know about your true sexual proclivities?
Proclivities. It's all good.
Proclivities.
Panties.
How did you become strong enough to become dainty, if you will?
I mean, the thing about the Brony fandom is that everyone used to treat probably being in love with a cartoon show for a girl demographic as like a sexual orientation, like psst, I like Rainbow Dash, don't tell anyone, And it's like, I think it's just generally speaking, the fandom made people open up and find social channels that they never found any for, and then when he's considering this particular lot of people, that's why so much of it's cringe. But when you accept the fact that it's cringe and everyone else is kind of like doing the cringe too, then you sort of just loosen up. And over the course of a bunch of years with various really good friends of mine, I opened up about things that beforehand I kept tightly lipped and Victorian. At least Second Life was like my only real outlet for a while there, and oh boy, is that a rabbit hole or two. But I guess this might sound a little arrogant and kind of self-centered, but you could probably see this with like celebrities and shit when they get a hell of a lot of attention, kind of like I did when I wrote Background Pony, and suddenly I was getting like hundreds of comments and likes and stuff every day. Like, what do you do to either get that same sting of like, oh, you, or sort of recognition or familiarity? Well, you kind of do weird bazonkers, like off the wall things, and sometimes that includes like the textual version of Tourette syndrome, where you're just like, yeah, I like femboys or something, I guess that's what happened like gradually over time. It's not really anything special, and I wouldn't compare it to coming out, so to speak. It's just I felt more and more comfortable expressing this side of myself, to the point that I probably went too far. But who the fuck cares? Because it's femfic in 2020.
Fair enough.
You might say the fairest of them all.
I think that's going to be it for Jake's questions, because he has a ton of them.
Jake, you're awesome.
We're going to move on to the next person, and I'll leave it to you, Priest, or maybe you want to let Rav do it? Or
yeah, no, Rav, by all means, go for it.
Ravioli. Time for your questions, Oli.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I was muted.
There you go.
God praise.
Yeah, God praiser.
All right. How was everything like during the time you stopped on Astraeo and Appledashery?
Not really worth chatting about. I mean, I had some really good friends at the time, and I got to be a bit more social than I used to be, but then I also got to be more antisocial than I used to be. So if people think that I went on some sort of like spiritual journey and found myself and stuff, no, I just got fatter. That's it.
Oh my God.
All right. Last fandom before the Pony apocalypse.
Well, it really depends on Nighty and if he makes gin fic finally. I would love to do Star Trek fan fiction someday. The only other fandom that I think I've witnessed during the Brony years that I'm like, wow, that seems like something to write fan fiction for. It's probably Avatar. Avatar seems like a huge, like, fuck yeah, write fan fiction for that. And for the longest time, I've wanted to do like a X-Men fanfic where it's the characters, it's a cast of X-Men, but kind of their ages are younger, kind of like an X-Men Evolution, but there is no Magneto and there's no Xavier. So they have to kind of form the X-Men together, almost like a clubhouse, without any like
Teen
resources.
Titans. You're describing Teen Titans.
No, not quite, because Teen Titans have like they have a headquarters. They have a yeah, but no, this is like, imagine if they don't even have the money to do that. They're just a bunch of like dipshits, like in the backyard, getting together in like a treehouse, saying we got to do something for the community. It's like an underground roots version of X-Men, where it's like if they all have like the circumstances of Peter Parker, where they're all like trying to get by every day, and sort of make that like a different universe where the odds are stacked against me even more, and you don't have the idealists like Xavier and Magneto sort of like, go on, my X-Men, we're going to stop the terrorist attack on Russia's dick or something. It's just it'd be a bit more down to earth and slice of lifey too.
Where you ask a question, Rav.
I know. I was just want to see if anybody had anything to add on to that. Something you would say to post as a writer and as a guide.
So God Praiser is referring to my pseudonym before I became Short Skirts and Explosions, which would be around 2004, 2005 when I was writing Teen Titans fan fiction. And if I was to say anything back to post at the time, it'd be like, write fucking femboys sooner. You got Robin and Beast Boy, for Christ's sake.
Now I can't get that image out of my head. Okay. Best pony for today only.
Enigma.
Oh,
No, why do you do this?
You take that.
But only if it's Enigma wearing panties. There you go.
That's more acceptable.
Yes.
Well, I wore boxers when I was in the direct, so there was no panties.
Yeah, like he wouldn't wear panties. He did wear a bra though.
You just ruined the illusion.
Warren ruined everything, actually. How the fuck dare you?
He
Who
didn't
the
even
fuck
tuck.
do you think you are?
Didn't
Fucking
even
Christ.
tuck, okay?
Oh, man.
All
Can't
right.
tuck an acorn.
Speaking of acorns, Sentence is up next with acorns around his ears. Don't think about that too hard. Number 1, what is your favorite snack, meal, or food stuff that is really unhealthy but just so friggin' delicious?
At the top of my head, I'm going to say the Dole Whip pineapple floats at Magic Kingdom, which I sorely miss right now.
Oh, this sounds amazing.
You're amazing.
Aw,
Oh,
bitch.
nice.
Oh. Number 2, what is the biggest or weirdest fear that you have?
I mean, there's the big one, and we're all going to kick it, but how do I phrase this on the Barcast? Meeting my manager from 2007 and not recognizing him.
Oh.
Because he's African American and I'm a white asshole.
Oh. I understand. Number 3, why is bagged milk the best milk?
So I'm not a big fan of boobs, so I think I'm just going to skip this.
But Pencil, do the thing.
Okay, he's referring.
No, I know all about it.
Okay.
I'll go back to my silence then. Please continue.
Number 4, what is your one annoying habit?
Probably this fidget cube I've been playing with this entire Barcast.
I wondered what that is.
Sorry.
At least it's not. No worries. It's not as nearly as bad as like. Who was the fucker who was clipping their nails? Was it you, Flam? You were clipping your nails one week on the cast, and I was about to lose my shit.
Priest?
Was I really?
Yes, and also Priest, you've literally clicked a pen over and over and over again during a cast before until I screamed at you.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, moving on. Number 5, what is the theme song for your sex life?
That would be Threnody for the Victims of Hiroshima by Christoph Penderecki.
That's nuclear, my dude.
Nuclear cereal, one might say.
Number 6.
I can't recover from the fallout.
Oh, God.
Noice.
You've broken me. All right, number 6. What do you watch anime by chance?
So I don't watch a whole ton of anime, at least compared to the larva that I live around online. I tried to weeb it up a bit last year because I'm 37 and the world's ending. I got to weeb it up, so I watched some My Hero Academia, loved it, including the main character. But I decided that I guess there's other stuff I want to do, and I just can't really continue binging it. If I have a favorite anime, it's got to be Project A-ko from the late '80s, which has a plot line that probably couldn't work in today's culture, but my God, that Project A-ko is the epitome of short skirts and explosions, to say the least.
Huh. Interesting. I'm surprised there isn't a million people asking you about Ava.
I've watched Eva, and I have a weird amount of fanfics that reference Eva or concepts of Eva. There's a Dive is a good example. That's basically just Eva with Moonspeak. Eva is more interesting in meta than it is in delivery, and I think most people can agree. It's the only shit we had for ages, and then finally anime exploded in the West. And it's I remember when Eva was good. No, wait, it wasn't.
Oh, that's fighting words. Them's fighting herds, if you will. Moving on. Number 7, how big is your porn stash?
So I'm trying to look it up right now. It's called Blue Harvest after the Return of the Jedi working title, and it apparently this is the non-safe for work. The non-safe for work one is apparently 49.6 gigs. The safe for work ones, let's see, 4.78, and then 1.95. So I guess maybe about 52 gigs overall.
That's non-rookie numbers right there. Milk, what's the evaluation?
Lit.
Shit.
Keep in mind, I did a purge or two over the last decade, but such is life.
You got rid of porn? How does that work?
I mean, garbage disposals.
Oh, I know this. They choose one day a year where all laws go away, and everything else after that is contrived.
I'm trying to imagine that scene from Fargo where the woman from the 3 billboards is showing up in the snow, and there I am trying to show Flash Sentry down at a wood chipper.
All right. Scampi is up next. That's a name I have not seen around these parts in a long time.
She's running about.
Which is the more valuable trait, flounciness or fluffiness?
Well, fluffiness is her game, so I'll stick with the flounce. I've had people bitch about, you use flounce wrong. It's flounce is when you describe, to me, it's when you describe a skirt that's kind of settling after having done a lot of movement and whatnot. So I like it when there's a firm anchor and then the rest of it moves. So flounce for me all the way.
Fair enough. And now it's time for questions with Pat. Pencil, would you like to do the honors?
Questions with Pat. Yes, I would love to. What is your favorite fictional country?
Miami? No, just kidding. It's Finland.
We've had 2 people say that now, and I love it.
What obscure video game or series do you?
I feel like I brought this up on a podcast before, but when it comes to obscure video game, the one most obscure video game that I played, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, and nobody else seems to remember it, is Mischief Makers on the N64.
Huh.
There's a boss where you're riding on the back of a Persian cat that you just defeated in dodgeball, while this furry robot dog thing chases you, and you're riding on missiles on the cat, tossing other missiles back at the robot.
That's my fetish.
Which fast food place has the best fries? And if you don't eat fast food or don't like fries, you can disregard this question.
I'm a big fan of Sissy Long John's.
We're going to talk about that in just literally a moment.
Oh.
Don't worry. When poured onto cereal, what is milk? A beverage a broth, or a sauce?
An aphrodisiac?
Mmm.
If you could go to one place to eat, would it be Tomboy Outback Steakhouse, Femboy Hooters, Goth IHOP, MILF Denny's, or other? You could make up some of your own if you want. Some others I've seen outside the main ones are Fem Domino's, Ara Ara Arby's, Monster Girl McDonald's, Shirt Stack Steakhouse, Cat Girl Chipotle, E Girl Applebee's, and Yondera Hut.
That would be Long John Sissies.
Well, there you go. That's been Questions with Pat. Priest, you're up.
Yay! The Dobermans is up next.
Is it too late to say Shota Garden?
Oh no, I love it.
Oh
No,
my
that's
God.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. That can stay.
Oh, God.
Panties.
Which ponies would you like to slowly eviscerate to death in a big, rusty meat grinder?
I can't think of a pony that I hate so much that would wish that upon them, with an exception of maybe some OC antagonists that I've made in the Australia series, so that's a different matter. I mean, once upon a time, I loathed Pinkie Pie so much that I probably would have suggested that, but I've since come to really adore the Equestria Girls version of her, and of course I ship her with Flash, so I don't really wish ill upon any of them.
Fair. Now it's time for Questions with Vylon.
It's time for Questions with Vylon.
How doth are you life today?
A bit shriveled and hanging to the left.
Very, very well said. Moving down to Jammer with a quick reminder to keep things light. No religion, friends. Jammer has questions. Number one, just how many alts do you have, Skirts?
First, I must state that ducks have nothing to do with this particular question, but I don't know why they had to talk about geese. As for my alts, let's try to count them. I have my bookmark here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the obvious ones. 5, 6, 7, technically 8. I use 9 for that. 10, 11. I got about 11 at least.
Wow.
I only really write on 2 of them, which would be Short Skirts and Imploding Colon. I used to write in Just Essay, which is the Apple Dashery author. Blue Harvest is the one for like romantic ship fix that I did for a while there. There is one I made with Ponky that we never did anything on, so it kind of just exists and floats in space. There's another one I made that I was going to use to stalk Intricate and B25 with, but they know about that. There's another one that I made for like ironic ship fix, but I didn't really go anywhere with it. There's one I made for a contest that I think some people know about. There's my current, not Claw, but Smut alt, but I've done stuff on Skirts as it is anyways. There's a Disney Princess one that I just have for GIFs, and that's about it.
All right.
Oh, there's the other one that I do for when the story is so bad, so boring, so stupid, it can't go on any of the other ones.
Ooh. Flutter Priest, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh. Number two. If you were giving 33 drinks of your choice every week, would you give 90 a place to stay at or near your home? So, 33 Dr. Peppers.
I can't imagine for the life of me why 90 would want to live in Florida. So I'm just going to pass on that.
Fair enough. Number three. Would you hug Thingpone, kiss them goodnight, tell them...
fuck you too!
Prop Master is up next.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the opportunity to snap your fingers and instantly rewrite one fic, which fic would it be, and what would you change?
That's a very good question, Props. Props, the mofo, the Furby himself, is probably my longest lasting friend in the Brony fandom, and I absolutely love to have been able to know him in my existence. The first thing that comes to mind is probably How to Disappear Completely. I feel like that could have been executed better. There's a lot of people who describe the philosophy preached in the soapbox nature of that story be very middle school teen angst style philosophy of the world, which is pretty biting because it actually was from the heart, which makes me think maybe I need to examine life a bit. But that story was written. It was begun in late 2016 for fairly meta reasons that I'm going to leave you to guess about, and it's just a way for me to vent about things. And then I abandoned it, and then I went back to it. But when I continued it, I was continuing it based on what I originally wanted to do in 2016. But I was like following a cookie cutter format, and I would have days where I would do that stupid thing where I would just write for the sake of uploading something, and I could tell that people were not fond of the direction the story was taking before it was finished, and I was losing love of it too. So it just kind of petered out and became nothing at the end. I think the last chapter is good, but for the most part, it's a real train wreck, but not in a flattering sense like I would refer to Apple Dashery. It's like How to Disappear Completely. It's like the opposite of the things Tavi says, both in terms of tone and quality. But hey, it's different and it's under my belt, so at least it exists, I guess.
Yeah. And now, up next, we have questions from Chapped Penguin Lips. Hello, slim fit shirts and esophagus fluid. It is I, Broken Penguin Knees, and I have questions that are in dire need of answering. Number 1, could you please rate these Disney princesses from best to worst? Cinderella, Ariel, Jasmine, Belle, Rapunzel, and Tiana.
I don't understand why Flash is not there, but okay. I'm not going to spend time trying to do an entire list, so I'm going to say that Ariel's at the bottom and Belle's at the top.
Fair enough.
That's not to say I don't like Ariel, just objectively not the best.
Yeah, she kind of reeks of teenager.
She kind of fucked everything up. Is what she did.
What is your favorite game to play right now?
Oh God, Overwatch. I was playing Overwatch till like 12 o'clock this morning.
Do you read much on FinFic nowadays? Are there any recent stories that you'd recommend?
I barely read much, but I also only ever read if it's something of relevant subject material or if it's something that someone has been nice enough to have written for me. So I think it goes without saying that on the top of the list would be Super Machiavellia Girl Lyrical Golden Pinafore Daedalus Alpha Trace Cross Delta XRD Championship Edition Accent Core Plus RX Gold 2.8 Redux Go by a non-pencil.
Yay.
Yeah, I've mentioned Shallow 15 a lot because I think they're really cool and they've inspired me to kind of write some of my latest travesties, so good on them. Simply Coco Darling by my senpai, Drace Domino, who's a wonderful sort of pay-to-write artist, does a lot of futa like themed erotica across multiple different fandoms, but a big splash in Equestria Girls. And he did Simply Coco Darling, which is a wonderful thing right up my alley, to say the least. And Intricate Disguise wrote a story in a similar vein called My Little Flashy, which, as horrible and cringy as it looks, is horrible and cringy, but still very well executed. Like, my God, did he knock that out of the park. Props, he was an amazing person. When I came back from my hiatus in Newton, got the Noble Jury to come together and write a story for me called Operation West Horse, which is a nod, a tribute to Australia, where everyone at the Noble Jury who was able to wrote their own, like, kind of chapter, fill in the blank chapter of Rainbow Dash flying west around the continental world. And he even got like Colton Gardez to come and write a section in this, and it has Rainbow Dash like at the site of Hiroshima, and having a moment of reflection, like, holy shit, this is like god tier stuff in this like friendly tribute story. Thank you kindly. Zapinator wrote this wonderful shit fic called Princess, which is gloriously drenched in copious skirts and stuff, and that's great. Ponego wrote a story called Author on Board, which is like a sequel to Flounce, which is a shipping story, well, kind of a shipping story of Flash and Pinkie Pie. He wrote it as part of like the holiday exchange thing, and I thought it was really cool, and so I like to give Ponego a shout out for Author on Board. And it's just a few of them.
Well said, well said. Next question, if not lemurs, what is your favorite animal?
The only reason I ever latched on to lemurs, and I don't know if this is going to break anybody's immersion, I don't really like animals. It's a miracle that I ever got into My Little Pony in general. 9 years of being exposed to the sheer depravity of this fandom is a miracle that I haven't become like a furry. It's just because I can't compute that. It's when I see that much fur, I think of my own body. I'm like, no. And with monkeys, I don't like monkeys because they're gross and they remind me of humankind, like evolutionary roots. So when I chose to create a persona, I just would refer to myself as a lemur because it was the next hairy thing that wasn't a monkey to refer to myself to. And I just wouldn't explain it. It's the same thing with marsupials. When I was in college, I had a creative English writing course, and the professor there would call anything he hand out an animal. Like he'd be like, "Here's the notes on the homework, as you can see on this animal here." And he said, "Pass the animal around." He never explained it, and that's brilliant. It's like a Groucho Marx thing to do. And so I just created this vocabulary where I'm the lemur and everyone else is marsupial, and I would just run with that. And eventually, people picked up. So if you do something long enough and with confidence, like writing a long story about Rainbow Dash Flies East, people can and potentially will pick up on it. Not so easy these days when the iron is not as hot in the fandom, but once upon a time for sure.
Yeah. And then the last question that we have of the thread before we move to something special is what dothent life?
Boxers.
Boxers. God. Nice.
Nice.
God damn it. You've got me doing it.
Yeah, he's going to get you every time. You realize this. But anyway,
Go ahead.
Skirts, you mentioned that you had something special that you were hoping the Barcast could read, and it looks like we have about 10 minutes, so maybe we can do it. You want to do it?
I was wondering if someone was stupid and suicidal enough to try to read that chapter I was talking about.
Oh, yes.
I will give it a shot if you'd like me to.
I was told that Flamenwerther is the best at doing German accents.
Oh, no. I will double check with you. Is this story political or religious in any way?
No, there's, I guess you could argue that there are German stereotypes, and like the two characters are called Hans. It's more just really Kaizo and touch of gross because it's talking about giving birth in a horse trough.
Well, Flam, are you up for this?
I mean, maybe. I'm not.
Don't do something you don't want to do or you feel uncomfortable doing. It's
I'll read whatever
at the start of the chat, it was made clear to me that was probably not a wise thing. I'm fine with that.
Was that we didn't have time, but we managed to make time.
Okay.
I'll whore the shit out of myself.
Like I was happy to do it. I don't know about Flam.
If anybody thinks they can do a photo finish, that's where it's at.
Oh, you actually have a good
photo finish.
I could try. If you'd like me to try, I will try.
We want you to try.
Linkage? Let me see.
It's right here.
I'm opening it. That's okay.
Who are all the different characters in this?
So it's Rainbow Dash, Photo Finish, and her two colts, both named Hans.
Okay, I wasn't necessarily going to assign parts for the speed of this because I know how long it takes for you fuckers to keep up when we're doing parts. But
you couldn't really tell the Hanses apart anyway, so I figured it'd just be a one-man show.
All right. Okay, I can do this. Would you like me to do this?
Only if you want to. I wasn't expecting this to come to fruition.
It is coming to fruition. It is fruitioning.
Cool.
Here we fucking go. Miracle breakfast. Rainbow Dash glanced up from poking a bowl of porridge. What's the project for? And after the photo session, photo finish, will show you the Canter Park. It's ein herrlich Stückgrün smack dab in the middle of Manhattan. She trotted around the table, pouring milk into Hans's glasses. The Hanses and I love to relax in the park benches and watch squirrels murder birds for bread. Sounds, awesome. Rainbow gulped, her eyes narrowing on the white sheet erected before the table. What's with the projector? And afterwards? Another photo shoot. This time, the Hansen. Seagull wings make for a fine background to the monochrome magics. Don't you agree, meine kleine Jungs? Ja, Mutter, the Hanses collectively throated, munching between words in perfect unison, their eyes glued patiently to the sheet in front of them. We are ready for the morning epiphany.
Fuck.
The morning what now? A day is like life, Photo said, merrily trotting around the table. It starts all golden anew, then languishes through optimistic blue skies. Then, in a natural cycle, it returns to darkness. Nein, I would be criminal for not showing my handsome Hanses the beauty and the tragedy of life in a blink. She stood by the projector, grinning. First, life in full bloom. She cranked the thing and flipped it on. Rejoice in the beginning of all things, mein Kinder. Hey! Rainbow glanced up from fidgeting with her brown suspenders. Breakfast and a movie. That's, kind of snazzy. Yeah, one of the Hanses nodded, munching on a muzzle full of oatmeal. This is Gustav's favorite part. I am Gustav, the other Hans said. Hey! Rainbow turned to look at the flickering image broadcasting on the sheet. Hey! Jacuzzi! Party! Killer! She blinked, then leaned forward. Say, Photo, is that you? Ja, Fraulein. Why are you just sitting in a big bath of cranberry juice? Nein, it is a horse trough of water. Water? And that is nothing but the glorious color of the folic. Ah, okay, Rainbow nodded, then twitched. Wait, the folic? Whoops. Yeah, sorry. Photo flipped another switch. I forgot to turn the sound on. Flick.
Oh my god.
A warbling recording of Photo's hellish screams echoed across the room. Every plate and water pitcher rattled madly. Rainbow winced, stretching her long-sleeved hooves to her ears. What in the name of Celestia's sky muzzle is that? It's the nature of music, Photo said, grinning wide. She had to yell to be heard above the sound of her own yells. The beauty of creation is most exquisite. She leaned in to nuzzle the Jager Hans. Don't you agree, mein kleine Prinzin? Ja, Mutter! Both colts stared at the projection, scarfing down their breakfast. Oops, I forgot to rewind all the way. It makes no difference. Photo waved. There are still 5 rounds of the labor pains left to go. Rainbow clamped a hoof over her mouth as her blue cheeks turned green. In about 2 minutes, Gustav will come floating to the top to join me in the screams of life. Photo beamed, squatting down to a seat across from Rainbow. She waited for the butter knife to rattle towards her before using it to slather margarine on a slice of toast. Since conception, I knew that an underwater birth would be the gusteste. But I did not wish to share this magic alone, so I infected all mine friends to join me and hold hooves around the horse trough. They gave me the spirit energy to survive the inversion of mine womb.
What the fuck?
Ja, most graceful. She munched on a slice of bread, pointed, and gulped her muscle down. Ah, there's Kurt, my marriage dresser, right now. Wait, nein, that's Natasha. For me think, silly Fraulein. Natasha is weak, Mutter. They're good Hanses. That is why she is never invited to the annual feast of living. What? Ugh. Rainbow grimaced, teetering nauseously in her seat. Is the feast of living. Once a year, mein Fuß and I slice off a tiny piece of the Hans's refrigerated placenta and swallow it down with Photo gulped another bite and smiled proudly at her sons. In 8 Jahre, you will be old enough for wine. Isn't that wunderbar? Ja, Mutter! With a gargling sound, Rainbow collapsed out of her chair and landed on the floor. Mutter, your guest is making fine art on the floor. Yeah, in your lederhosen too. Mein Gott. Photo glanced down at the floor, shrugged, and returned to watching the projection. Poor, graceful, awesome Pantolander. A smirk. At least it will save her the trouble when we go to photograph the cow carcass later. She gasped suddenly. Sema, Gustav, you are crowning. End.
What the?
So it's July 25th of 2020, and we can officially say that somebody has read Apple Dashery. Much appreciated.
Did I do okay?
And that was a Herculean effort there in On Pencil. I think you deserve a fic. If you want me to write a crap shot for you or something, just let me know.
Be careful what you ask for. We will tell you.
It'd be a challenge.
And
I did one for Priest once.
Be careful.
I'm disgusted that they're drinking the placenta in grape juice and not apple juice, like us regular people.
Anyway, we are right at the end. We actually made it just on time. So, Priest,
Amazing.
I know. Let's wrap that shit up.
It's true. Skirts, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It's always wonderful to have you on.
I appreciate you. It was a bucket list for this year to be on this thing again, so I thank you very kindly for your gracious invitation.
Of course, my friend. Never be a stranger. And next week, we're off. We're taking a week off next week. And then after that, we will be back for episode 200! Episode 200! Milk, who do we have?
It's new Taz, but I don't know if that's this coming week or the week after, because I've still not received
Next, we said week after next, because next week we're taking a week off. We already said that.
Yes, but
yes.
Okay.
You should interview Liler.
I would
yes.
love to interview Liler. But that's all the time that we have for this week. Your bartenders for this evening have been On Pencil.
Yeah.
Enigmatic Otaku.
I am Gustav.
Flammenwerfer.
Yeah, something about that.
Ravage.
Slice me some placenta.
Milk.
Boyette.
Our amazing guest, for Skirts and Explosions.
Mom, this is my impersonation of a vibrator.
I will never impress Senpai. Have a great weekend, everyone. Skirts, I love you. Please don't.